What's up mga brads? It's your boy next door JD. Welcome to F.Y.I Talks because they are facts that you should know. Alam mo ba kung sino naka-imbento ng mga toilet flush sa ating mga banyo? At alam mo ba kung ano itsura ng mga bosina ng mga sakyan dati? Alam mo rin ba kung sino naka-imbento at sino gumawa ng ating mga doorknob? Mag-iba pang matsyag, panuri, pangaas, pambaka. And yes mga brads, ngayong araw na to magkakaroon tayo ng 3 topics. Ito ay ang car horn, toilet flush, and doorknobs. Malalaman nyo kung sino nga ba naka-imbento ng mga to, kung paano na-imbento, ano yung itsura ng mga naunang ganito, and kung paano ginamit ng mga naunang tao or mga tao dati nung unang panahon yung mga ganitong bagay. So, umpisahan na natin mga brats. First on the list is car horn. Technically, there was not a car horn until the automobile was invented. But earlier modes of transportation need some sort of noise-making device to alert pedestrians. And the earliest known use of horns dates back to 1800s when a German clockmaker installed one in an elaborate horseless carriage he'd invented. As automobile evolved over the centuries, so did the horn where it became an integral warning device. As automobile evolved over the centuries, so did the horn where it became an integral warning device. During the late 19th century, automobile warning device varied from quaint bells and whistles to rubber bulb squeakers. As cars grew faster and became ubiquitous, a stronger horn was needed. One was the Gabriel, the multi-tone exhaust horn, popular in the early 1900s but eventually faded in popularity in favor of the klaxon. It was named after the Greek word klaxo, meaning to shriek, which produced sound through an electrically powered vibrating diaphragm. This imitated the familiar goofy ga sound that was commonly found on Model T Fords. More importantly, these horns were loud and very effective at getting pedestrians and animals out of the way. Finally, in 1910, Oliver Lucas in the United Kingdom invented the standard electric car horn. Since then, the noise generated by the car horn has become a standard sound on roadways worldwide. Since then, car horn construction and how it sounds greatly vary among car horn manufacturers, but certain guidelines still apply. For example, smaller cars have higher pitch horns, while larger cars and trucks have deeper pitch horns. The larger the vehicle, the deeper sounding the horn should be. This method helps identify the size of a vehicle before it's seen. Looking inside the car horn, it's basically a simple device employing an electromagnet and an internal diaphragm to generate the sound. Through the years, car manufacturers have continually tried to re-engineer the car horn to perfection. They continually make changes the sound level as well as the tone. This is because manufacturers have to balance the decibel levels to make car horns audible to drivers who might be listening to the radio in the tightly sealed vehicles, but not so loud that they deafen nearby pedestrians. One of this quality car horn can last as long as car itself, but when it is subjected to prolonged submersion in water like floodwaters and off-river crossings, water can seep inside the seals, causing the metal parts to rust and eventually fail. So, yun nga mga brads, ang naka-invento ng actually hindi siya yung una eh. Pero ang talaga naka-invento ng modern car horns is Oliver Lucas. So, alam natin kung anong purpose ng car horn, usually to alert other vehicles or other drivers, and especially they alert or they warn pedestrians that maybe walking pedestrians lane or crossing the roads or like that. So yun mga brads. Ganito ang itsura ng ukauna-unahang busina or car horn mga brads. Sa pangalawa tayo mga brads, alam nyo ba kung sino umimbento ng toilet flush? At alam nyo ba kung ano itsura ng kauna-unahang toilet flush? So, start na natin to. Toilet flush in 1775, Scottish inventor Alexander Cumming was granted the first patent for a flush toilet. His greatest innovation was the S-shaped pipe below the bowl that used water to create a seal preventing sewer gas from entering through the toilet. In the late 19th century, a London plumbing impresario named Thomas Crapper manufactured one of the first widely successful lines of flush toilets. Crapper did not invent the toilet, but he did develop the ball cock, an improved tank filling mechanism still used in toilets today. Crapper's name would become synonymous with the devices he sold, although in English word crap predates him by centuries, thanks in part of American servicemen stationed overseas during the World War I. These doughboys, unfamiliar with the relatively newfangled invention, referred to the toilets as crappers due to the Crapper brand of equity in England and France, and brought the term back home with them after the war. So yun mga brads, ang nakagawa ng unang kauna-unahang toilet flush is Alexander Cumming. Pero ang nagawa niya is isang S-shaped pipe na nasa pinakailalim ng bowl. Ang sumunod naman sa kanya ay si Thomas Crapper na yun yung parang nakagawa ng parang modern na flush toilet sa ating mga banyo na ginagamit worldwide. Kaya yun mga brads. At ang pinakahuli sa lahat mga brads, ang bagay nito ang pinaka gustong paglaruan ng mga bata. Kahit naman siguro tayo, nung bata tayo, gusto natin paglaruan to. Ito yung bagay na lagi natin pinipihit. Ginagawa natin laruan, although hindi siya laruan. Ito ang ating mga doorknob. So, doorknobs have very interesting history. Although it is difficult to provide an exact date of when doorknobs first came into use, the first documentation of the invention of a doorknob was in 1878. The U.S. Patent Office received a submission made for improvements on a door closing device by an African-American inventor named Osborne Dorsey. Doorknobs and door handles are now a vital part of modern doors. Before doorknobs and door handles were invented, people often just used locks with keys if they could afford to have a lock fitted. Alternatively, instead of locking a door, they would simply keep their valuables in boxes or chests that could be locked, and the key kept safe. For the wealthy, a servant called a Chamberlain would be trusted with the keys to the king's locks, who would keep his treasures locked away in a bedroom. Therefore, closing doors and keeping them secure didn't actually require doorknobs. The problem was that locks were very expensive and poorer people just didn't have the money to be able to afford them. That meant that they had to rely on simpler, cheaper ways to open and close doors. For this, they came up with a latch string. By using this method, which involves the use of a bar across the door, people inside were kept safe and so were their possessions. So instead of a door handle on a doorknob, they would make a small hole in the door, insert a leather tongue or a piece of string or cord, and loop it around the bar. Pulling the cord enabled the bar to be raised, which meant that someone could enter. This latch string method wasn't really practical for interior doors for larger houses. However, as it took long to redo the latches as you walk through the houses. So, ganun nagsimula ang doorknob mga brads. Hindi siya ganun yung unang-unang ginagawa nila is parang naglalagay lang sila pangharang sa mga pinto nila para para hindi sila mapasukan or para alam nila na secured sila, ganun. Yun yung sa mga poor people. Pero karaniwan sa mga wealthy or mga mayayaman or may kaya, ginagawa nila lahat ng valuables nila or lahat ng mga masabi natin na ang mga safekeeping nila na magamit ay tinatawag nila sa mga boxes, mga treasure chest, mga ganun. Kung alam yung mga treasure chest, ito yung madalas na hinahunting or ninanakaw ng mga pirates. So, until such time na dumating ang 1878, nakagawa na sila ng doorknob. So, yung mga brads. And yes! So, nagtatapos ang ating episode ngayon mga brads. Salamat sa pagsama at pakikinig sa ating episode ngayon. Sana nalaman nyo kung ano yung itsura ng mga dating mga gamit natin na madalas nating kalikutin or madalas nating gamitin, lalo sa ating mga banyo, sa ating mga bahay, or sa ating mga sakyan. And at least ngayon alam na natin kung ano ang kanilang mga history and kung sino mga bento sa kanila. So, salamat sa pagsama sa akin mga brads. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe sa aking channel mga brads. I-click na rin ang notification bell para lagi kayong updated sa aking mga bagong videos. Salamat mga brads! Peace out! Salute!